ゴルフ業界を盛り上げようということで始まりましたチェケラーゴルフ。今日はつくばにあるコンバーゴルフラボというところに来ています。
よろしくお願いします。
キウイコーチです。よろしくお願いします。今回はキウイコーチとのコラボということになります。それではチェケラー。
Oh, so this one's going to be basically early rotation or over rotation. So typically, sometimes you'll see a lot of people tend to rotate their hips really quickly. So basically, the origin behind this video is we know a lot of you guys out there are working on rotation these days, right? That's kind of the popular trend right now, which I think is a great trend, and rotation is very good for the swing. However, we do see a lot of people really struggling with how much to rotate and when. And we are seeing actually probably most people rotating too much. So that's why we brought up that clip there. So basically what Tiger was trying to say there was when he was a junior golfer, a lot of the ways that he got power was kind of spinning his hips as fast as he could. And then from here, the hands and club would get stuck behind him and then he kind of just flip it into the golf ball, right? So it's kind of like a junior golfer swing. Right. So I'm sure Yukino probably, when you were playing golf, maybe if you were playing when you were a junior, as well as I'm sure a lot of other people, she's probably seen that. So maybe can she give me her thoughts about her ideas on rotation and like how much is too much and all that?
でもまあ人によってなんか違いそうなんで、どのぐらいでしょうね。前傾がキープできる範囲内でぐらいなアバウトですけど。
Okay. I think that's a great indicator, I would call that, but maybe not necessarily like 100% correlation. So we can explain. We kind of have the target line here. We have this little alignment stick on our pelvis. So if I swing up to the top here, what most people are going to call this right here is roughly maybe 45 degrees close. On the downswing, it's kind of a similar thing. So what we see most people who early rotate is by the time they get to position 6, which is right around here, we're seeing them almost 45 degrees open, right? So like for me, the measurement tool I'm kind of using is I'm using the reference line as a reference or target. And then from here, I'm just looking at how much my pelvis line is kind of open or closed relative to that at each position. And that's kind of my checkpoints. So position 5, which is right around here, typically we like to see the pelvis roughly around here, which is going to be like 25 to kind of 30 degrees closed roughly. That's a little different than what most people would teach. You're going to see most American teachers probably are going to teach a little bit more like almost 0. It's typically what they teach at P5. My personal preference, and you don't have to follow this, it's just kind of my preference, 30 to 25 close is what I like to teach.
それはなんでなんですか？ゼロじゃなくて。
Well, typically what I've personally seen a lot is when people get to 0 here, and they tend to get too much rotation from P5 to P6 if they're at 0 degrees. From there, when they rotate too much, they can't rotate through the ball, so they tend to start to tilt their upper body and then extend and kind of go this way through the ball. So if you guys are like, what I personally prefer is I like to have a swing that has a lot less separation than most people, and mainly because I like to have players feeling more of a unit as opposed to feeling like they're really stuck and having to release everything with the hands too much. If you take a look too, there's a lot of tour players that would kind of talk to you about like a similar feeling as well. So we can kind of show you another one of kind of Justin Rose. What he was trying to talk about there was two things. A, he's trying to talk about where he wants the club shaft to be, but also he's talking about the feeling of keeping the upper body closed for a lot longer in early transition. It's that feel and real concept, and I feel like for a lot of amateur golfers out there who we all know they probably kind of look something like this, if we can get them to feel this, most likely they're going to be within that kind of 0 to kind of 30 degree range, most likely. So from P5, me personally, to P6, I like to see anywhere from like 10 to 15 degrees open at P6. And then as we come into impact, I'm more of a guy that likes to see like 25 to 30 degrees open roughly. So kind of the amount from P5 to kind of P6 is actually has the most amount of rotation. And that's just personally how I like to do it, but I like the starting point to be from a little bit more of a closed position. And I feel like it's a little bit more of a powerful move. I think the take-home point maybe for your audience though is more so, you don't have to follow my preference at all, but if you can stick within those parameters that we kind of talked about, you're probably going to be in a pretty good spot and you're going to be not early rotating. Yeah. Do you want to try a couple?
P5 で30度、このぐらいですか？25から30ってこのぐらい？ P6 でちょっとオープン。
A little bit open, good. Yeah, there you go.
最初から早く打ったら分かんないですもんね。ちょっとゆっくり確認しながらやった方がいいんですかね。
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely.
最初。
And I can show you like a quick little example if you want, because so as you can see how you can see about half of your left thigh right here? To me, I feel like that's a great checkpoint if you're kind of looking for this. And then as you kind of get to position 6, which is roughly right around here.
あ、開いてる。
Yeah. So if you can see like a lot of your left back thigh, then you would probably have rotated too much.
こっちですね。
Yeah, so if he was like
Hi.
here at P6, this would be too much rotation. Yeah. So see how you can see pretty much roughly right around half of his left leg? That would be another telltale sign that he's got the proper amount of rotation, in my opinion. Makes
これ
sense?
でセルフチェックですね。
She could start, maybe try one part stop and go. So
お、
up to here, ichi, san, swing.
はい。
Okay, so up to the top. Ichi, san. All right, what you think? Perfect?
いやー、どうだろう。ちょっと腰止まっちゃったかなとも思うんですけど、どうでしょう。
So take a look. What does she think? Based off kind of the checkpoints that we just kind of told her, what does she feel?
OK ここ
I'd say she's pretty close. Now, if we wanted to be really particular, I would say that's a little bit more than left or half of your left thigh. So if anything, slightly under rotated, I would say. Okay, and then from here, as we go into P6, now, luckily, she's wearing white socks. So can you see how she see a little bit of her white sock right there? So for me, I would say that's a slight bit too open. And this is probably why she felt stuck. Her sequence was off, and I can explain that. So at P5, she was a little bit under rotated, and then she was actually too much at P6. So basically, she sped up too quick is the main point there. And that's whenever someone feels stuck, that tends to be what we see. Their hips outrace the hands, and then you're like, the club head feels heavy now, and it feels like it's behind me, and it's hard to square the face. So that's what happened there. All right, so does she want to try a couple more? And then if she wants, she can also talk about maybe what she likes and doesn't like about it, or like maybe some helpful tips if she thinks for the audience at home. 1, 2, 3. Line ball.
まあまあいいと思います。今ちょっと自分の中ではグッて腰が急に回転しないような感じに意識してみました。
Good, good, good. 1, 2, 3.
あ、
ちょっと stuck, right? So tell her, I didn't video that one, and we always recommend the video, but that one looked like to me like she was under rotated, so slow here and then fast. That was a little better there. All right.
って
Okay.
いうことはあれですか、バックスイングでこうそもそもが開いてるかなって思うんですけど、トップに行くときにそもそもこう腰がバックスイングの時に開きすぎてるっていうのはあるんですかね。
Not necessarily. I feel like she's actually at a pretty good sequence at the top, so it looks like she's roughly right around 45. Sometimes when she does a stop and go, though, she gets a little bit more than that, so then maybe that could be kind of true at that point. Yeah.
難しいこの腰の調整は。
Exactly. So I think that's one of the first things too, because a lot of people they're not really great or experts at changing the look of their golf swing. So it's difficult for them to just focus on one thing. And then the second thing too is I feel like this drill cuts out your power source. So for people it feels like not very powerful. So that's another big thing that they have to get over at first. So at the last part of that video, what Tiger was talking about was he was trying to feel, not real, but feel like his hands got all the way past impact before his hips would start to rotate and turn through. That was kind of the feeling.
っていう感覚ね。
Right. So as you can see, maybe for Yukino, who I feel like maybe doesn't struggle with this as much, probably not so important for her, but for someone out there who really spins their hips from the top, and by the time they get to position 6, their hips are already 45 degrees open, this would be a great feel and a great drill for them to work on.
なるほど、わかりました。できたとしたらすごい効果的な、難しいだけ効果的なドリルということですよね。はい。
Okay.
ここからはキウイプラチナムメンバーシップの方からご覧ください。チェケラ。
Hello, check it out golfers. Thank you so much for making it to the end of the video. I hope I brought you guys some value with the video. And as well, big shout out to Yukino. Thank you so much for allowing me to film with her. She's such a natural. She did a great job, made me look good as a golf instructor. So real quickly, I want to talk about my membership, and specifically, if you're one of those people out there that have found that the golf instruction on YouTube can be really feeling based and that you're not really getting specific checkpoints or specific parameters, and that's something that you want in your golf swing change, then I want you guys to go check out my membership site. On the site, we have a bunch of webinars as well as videos with professional golfers where we kind of break down step by step exactly how to change your golf swing, exactly what checkpoint parameters are the parameters for you, and then also we show you how to actually film yourself and do everything yourself, and really you can become your own golf coach. So if that's something you're interested in, go ahead and check out the link down below. And as well, if you sign up before May 20th, you guys are going to get entered into a raffle where you guys can win a full set of irons, pitching wedge through 3-iron. As well, you're going to get a fitting from a famous fitter, Satoshi Yoshida. And then last but not least, you guys are going to get a 2-hour lesson from myself. So go check out the link down below. I hope to see you guys in the membership.
今日はありがとうございました。Thank you!
Thank you very much.
ということで今回はコラボ動画ということだったんですけれど、キウイコーチのオンラインサロンキウイプラチナムメンバーシップの方に動画が貼ってあるので、ぜひそちらもご覧ください。概要欄に貼ってあるのでそちらもチェックしてみてください。はい、というわけでありがとうございました。
ありがとうございます。
キウイコーチのレッスンでした。それではチェケラー。